You can beat diabetes. I don't care what some experts might tell you. It is not something that you have to live with the rest of your life, but it is going to require decision, commitment, and resolve. But you can beat diabetes. Let me just say right at the very outset, I am not a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice. I'm sharing with you my story. If you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, if you are under a doctor's care, I recommend that you not make any changes until you have consulted with your physician. With that said, let me share my journey with you. It begins several months and nearly 100 pounds ago. Now, I've been overweight for several years, and to be honest, there were people that along life's journey tried to tell me, come on, Marty, you got to take better care of yourself, you got to lose some weight, and I'd make a joke about it. I would say, you're just witnessing the anointing of God growing on my life. Or I would say things like, diet. You do know the root word of diet is die. And I made a lot of jokes about it, and I just said, as one shirt size gets too small, hey, God invented bigger shirts. Then, of course, there's that internal knowing, though, that you really do need to take better care of yourself. And the realization that you get to the point where you can't walk into the regular section of a menswear department and find anything that fits. You got to go to the big and tall section, which, I can be honest and say the fat guy corner. And that's really what you get. You get like a half a rack and a couple of shelves, and there you go, unless you want to go to one of the really expensive big and tall men's stores. And then the problem with that is selection. Yeah, they got your plus sizes there, and they got it in like 2 colors and 2 different designs, and that's it. I turned the age of 50, and immediately my body began to turn against me. And the first thing was, these. I had never had problem with my vision ever. I had been 20/20 vision my whole life, and I noticed as I was reading my sermon text and outlines, and when you do what I do, which is I preach, I teach, I speak, I do radio, I do a lot of talking in front of people, and yes, I need to be able to look down at some notes from time to time, and when you can't see them, people think, can he read? So I had to face the inevitable after we tried changing lighting around and this and that my eyes just weren't what they used to be. So I got a really low prescription. I mean, like the lowest grade readers that you need. And was feeling pretty good about myself. Then in November of 2018, I had the scare. I thought I was having a heart attack. I drove myself to the emergency room. I was immediately surrounded by a team of doctors and nurses and wired up and EKGs, and was told that my blood pressure, they couldn't understand how I actually walked into the emergency room. My blood pressure was 200 plus over 100 plus. High blood pressure is something that ran in my family. My mother had it. And immediately I was put on high blood pressure medication. I did some follow-ups with the doctor. And at the time, the doctor told me that, your blood sugar is 119. Now, that makes you pre-diabetic. The doctor never told me that. And I wouldn't know good blood sugar levels from bad blood sugar levels. It was nothing that ever crossed my mind. So I didn't think much about it. Didn't tell me to watch my blood sugar. Didn't tell me I was pre-diabetic. Didn't explain any of that. Did say, you need to start thinking about your weight. Yeah, okay. Well, April of 2019, I noticed that I was urinating a lot. And I noticed that I was consuming beverages, and a lot of them. Now, I've always been one that throughout the day, couple 3 Coca-Colas and, iced tea, lemonade in the evening, coffee in the morning to get the day started. Here and there, you'd have a bottle of water. But for the most part, I drank a lot of sugary drinks, but, we're talking 4 or 5 a day. Well, I started to notice I couldn't go more than 10, 15 minutes without a beverage. And I began to keep count. I'm up to 9 drinks, 10 drinks a day, and constantly having to urinate, getting up 2, 3, 4 times in the night to urinate. And I knew this was not good. And I began to do some research. Of course, it kept pointing to diabetes, but of course, you think everything else first. Oh, my prostate, it's gotten weak, it's gotten lazy. I've got to retrain my bladder. Like, how do you retrain your bladder? So finally, I broke down, made a doctor's appointment, and I went in, and I had to fast the night before. It was a 12-hour fasting glucose test they were going to give me. My fasting glucose was 350. I don't know if you understand fully what that means, but that's high. That's really, really high. And immediately the doctor just looked at me and said, "You have type 2 diabetes." Prescribed metformin for me. I was to take it twice a day, and basically was told that this is something you are going to have now the rest of your life, and as you get older, the medication is going to change. It's going to get bigger doses, and then eventually they were saying probably about 6 to 8 years out, we're looking at you're going to be on insulin the rest of your life. Well, I got to be honest, as the doctor kept talking, I wasn't hearing it. The doctor began to sound like the teacher on Charlie Brown, wah, 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 and it just sort of faded into noise, and I drove home just devastated. I had to be back there a week later, for a follow-up. Now, the doctor didn't explain anything about testing my own glucose, nothing, just gave me the prescription, and I did what people do. I went, I had the prescription filled, took it home, broke down, told my wife what happened, and I cried. To me, it was a death sentence. I was not ready to hear that. And for the first 24 hours, I was in depression. I was just didn't want to talk. Was taking the medication and couldn't believe that I was there. Then I began to do some reading and some research. And I came across some guys on the internet that began to say, type 2 diabetes is triggered by diet, and pills are not how you treat it. Diet is how you treat it. And immediately that just clicked with me. It made sense. And I can tell you in the Christian realm of thinking, my spirit immediately said, that's it. That's the ticket right there. That's the key right there. The human species is interesting, isn't it? Of all of God's creation, we're the only ones that when we eat something that makes us sick or is not good for us, we don't stop eating it. We don't walk away from it. An animal eats something that makes it sick. Guess what it never does? It never eats that again. But we, the human species, we develop pills and other poisons to swallow so that we can keep eating and treating our bodies like a walking dumpster. Years ago, I had read a book by Mike Huckabee right after he had finished his gubernatorial run and before he went into, being a political pundit. And he wrote a book called Stop Digging Your Grave with a Knife and a Fork. And I don't remember all the aspects of the book, and it was not written from a medical perspective. It was written from a practical perspective. And I remember he had some key just tips, suggestions, things he had learned along life's path. And one of them he said was, if your food is served in styrofoam and handed to you through your car window, it's probably not good for you. Now, these are all the kind of things that we know, but we choose to abuse our bodies. And then when our bodies do naturally what they're going to do, which is deteriorate and break down as a result of that crud, then we start, God, why? Or we start, this isn't fair, and I want to be able to eat what I want whenever I want and just swallow this pill and it'll make me better. And I knew I couldn't do that. I began reading some things written by Dr. Jason Fung. Outstanding. Learning about putting in the kind of foods that help with diabetes, not fuel the diabetes. So I went radical. Immediately went radical. I developed a GPS diet. no grain, no potato, which is starches, pastas, no rice, and I love rice, and no sugar. And I went hardcore radical with that. I just drank only water. Immediately, I began to feel better. Immediately, I noticed I was not urinating all the time. I stopped taking the medication. After about 3 days, I stopped taking it. It was affecting my vision. See, I had to put readers on to read, but I didn't need glasses for anything else. Well, one evening we had some people over to our home, and I couldn't even read the word Panasonic on our 60-inch screen, flat screen television that wasn't more than, 15 feet away from me. Couldn't read it. Couldn't read, different verses and plaques and things that we have hanging on the walls around our house. Couldn't read it. Couldn't read the signage here in my man cave, off to my left, your right, and behind me. Couldn't read it. And my wife, who is a registered nurse, had stopped taking the metformin. I had gone to the eye doctor. I was being fitted for trifocals and was basically told, you're getting older. This is a reality. Stop taking the metformin. Within 2 weeks of I stopped taking the metformin, the vision cleared up completely. I wear these now when I make videos because I just like the way they look. And for the most part, I can look down and read things, especially at a quick glance. But when I'm going to be focusing on a major text that I need to read, then I do put my readers on. And by the way, these are not prescription. These are the lowest grade over-the-counter Walgreens specials you can get. And I got a couple pairs of them because I'm constantly forgetting them. So I have a pair here, I have a pair at my office, and I keep a pair in the car. So, that's where I'm at. I told the doctor on my 1 week checkup that I would not be taking the metformin because she immediately not only wanted to up the dosage of the metformin, but then she said, and I'm also concerned that, your liver isn't quite what it should be, so we're going to put you on this medication for that. I'm like, time out, stop. And I told her, I said, I've been doing research. I am not going to treat diabetes with pills. And I said, what most people do is they get the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, they start taking the pill, and they change nothing about their lifestyle. Oh, the pill's going to make me better. I'm going to be okay because I got the pill. I said, I'm not doing that. And I said, it's affecting my vision, which she disagreed with. But the amazing thing was when I stopped taking it 2 weeks later, my vision cleared completely. And I now have a $300 pair of prescription glasses I never wear. I found a new doctor, a wellness doctor. And I stayed hard target on that GPS, no grain, no potato, no starches. About 3 months in my journey, I began to, I got to drink something with a little flavor to it. For me, I drink Coke Zero. Now, before you send me all kinds of information about diet beverages, Coke Zero is different than Diet Coke. It is sweetened with sepia, which is a sugar derivative, but it has absolutely zero effect personally on my blood sugar level. No effect whatsoever. And I'm not drinking 10 a day. I allow myself 1 a day. It's my special little treat. I can also drink Diet Snapple products. Again, I don't even drink those once a day. That's a once a week, sometimes once a month. I give myself a Diet Snapple iced tea just to have a little something. And I've brought coffee back into my routine. But primarily, I drink water with my meals, water throughout the day. Treat myself to a Coke Zero and a cup of coffee. Here and there, I have little by little, I'll give myself, a couple of French fries. And I don't mean a whole large order from McDonald's. And did your mother ever make anything as amazing as McDonald's French fries? The quick answer and the correct answer here is no! McDonald's French fries are amazing. I don't care that they're fake. They're still amazing. And so, to give up the Big Macs and all that, I get it. And I knew me, and I knew that if I told myself I would never be able to do any of those things again, I knew that I would quit before I ever got started. The amazing thing is now that I can do some of those things, I don't, because I don't want to. I don't even have a desire to. But here and there, I will have a slice of pizza. I don't have pizza 4 times a week. These become treats, and I've learned that, all right, if I'm going to have a little snack that's got some sugar in it, like a scoop of vanilla ice cream, well, then I don't also have a slice of pizza, and I don't also have this. You start to learn. Here's where I'm at. My journey began, I was 309 pounds. I am now, as of the filming of this, which is October the 22nd, 2019, I am now at 229 pounds. My fasting glucose ranges about 75 to 85. I can eat something that will bring my blood sugar up into the hundreds, like 110, 115, and within 90 minutes, it's right back in the normal zone. My A1C when I was first diagnosed was at 10. I'm sorry, it was at 11. It is now 5.4, and I'm going to get it down under 5. That is my goal. I'm going to get it under 5. My body mass index was at 40 when this journey began. It's now at 32, and we want to get it under 30. I feel great. I've gone from a size 49 pant to a size 38 pant. I've gone from a XXX shirt. I need extra large if I'm going to wear the skinny cut or the slim cut. And if it's a full cut shirt, I can wear a large. I feel great. I haven't had this kind of energy since I was in my 20s. I don't wake up with headaches. I don't wake up with chronic back fatigue anymore. I sleep through the night. Now, some people don't understand how I can make it on 5 hours of sleep. I just automatically have kind of a natural high energy level anyway. And if I get 5 uninterrupted hours of sleep, I am rocking and rolling for the next day. Didn't matter if I got 8 hours on the clock of sleep. If I was up every 90 minutes to 3 hours to go to the bathroom, my sleep patterns were choppy. Now I just sleep through the night, and I give myself one day on my day off a little extra sleep. That day I sleep about 7 to 8 hours. And just, I can't tell you that I just feel like I'm in my 20s again. Now some people will say, yeah, but you can't eat whatever you want. Again, I go back to, why would you eat things that are killing you? And by the way, if I want to have a Twinkie, I can have a Twinkie. I don't want one, I can have one. And I'm just smart. You don't sit there and eat the box of Twinkies. You don't sit there and eat the bag of Doritos. You take a handful of Doritos, you put them in a small little cup, and when that's done, you're done. And you don't do it every day, all day. You give yourself a little reward here and there, and if your blood sugar goes up a little bit, it's okay. Don't keep eating on top of it so that blood sugar keeps building. It goes up a tad. You introduce intermittent fasting into your diet, which is, I don't eat a meal. I don't eat anything substantial past 8 o'clock in the evening. Won't do it. Nope. Now I might have a handful of almonds if, it's getting into the later part of the evening because I'm a night owl and I really get a craving or the munchies. I don't want to grab the Doritos. I don't want to run out to Rally Burger and get the double cheeseburger at 10:30 at night like I used to do. I don't do any of those things. But I will go over to we have a mason jar in our kitchen that we keep almonds in, and I'll give myself a handful of almonds and a bottle of water, and I'm good. Then there are certain days where I will go 12 to 16 hours in between a meal. 12 to 16 hours. You're constantly changing things up, forcing that internal furnace of yours to burn fat, not store fat. And again, I am sharing my wellness journey with you. It's gotten so good that the doctor I have now, who is a wellness doctor, has asked me to talk to other people. I'm so excited about this. And I just wanted to give you some encouragement today. You can beat diabetes, but you've got to get focused, you've got to be serious, you got to get radical, and I promise you, once the weight starts coming off, once you start being able to go into the regular section of a department store and buy whatever you want off the clothes rack because it fits, they've got your size, and they've got lots of colors and styles in your size, that's awesome, baby. It's just amazing. The biggest problem I had in this whole process was one day I came home after preaching on a Sunday, and my wife said, "You kept your right hand in your pocket the whole time." She said, "I think I know what was going on, but I want to hear you say it." I said, "I kept my hand in my pocket to keep my suit pants from falling off in the middle of the sermon." That wouldn't have been good on a Sunday morning. That might have made a few people go, so, yeah, I've had to buy some new clothes. I've had to have some clothes retailored, and some clothes just can't be tailored anymore. When your front pockets are not where your back pockets used to be, there's no more taking those pants in anymore. You got to break down. You got to go to the store. You gotta change the wardrobe up a little bit. I used to get on my teenage sons, who are now in their early 20s, about wearing skinny jeans. Psst, I'm wearing skinny jeans. You probably saw some skinny jeans in the pictures I put up a minute ago. It is just so awesome. And I'm telling you, you can do it. You've got to get determined, and you've got to realize something. And I'm going to leave you with this little scriptural promise. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are designed in the image of your Creator. And if things aren't quite working out, remember, before you look up and say, why, look in the mirror and say, why? You do what you can in the natural. Let God show up and add His super to your natural. You have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you for letting me share with you.